This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. More than a dozen bus drivers in Winnipeg have quit in the last few weeks, and the union says it's over concerns about rising violence. It comes after one transit driver was shot in the hand while trying to protect himself earlier this week. As Felicia Adam reports, the union wants the city to move faster on installing full enclosures to protect drivers.
A bus driver was shot with a pellet gun on Monday afternoon. Police say it happened after an argument with a young passenger. The driver, after trying to protect himself, got hurt. Winnipeg Transit Union head Chris Scott says attacks like this are becoming more common, and with them, drivers are walking away from the job.
In this month alone, we've had 18 resignations. That doesn't include the retirements. That's just people quitting, saying, I cannot do this.
So far this year, Scott says there's been 221 acts of violence on buses. 92 of those attacks on drivers.
We now have people reaching around, assaulting the driver, grabbing their steering wheel while the bus is in motion, and that's a huge safety risk for everybody that's on the bus.
Right now, drivers are protected by a partial shield. Scott says that's not enough. The union wants the city to move faster to install full enclosures like this one.
Floor to roof, front to back. So this way the operator can focus on the job of providing the safe transportation.
I think that is totally fair.
Maxwell Wilson uses the bus every day.
It should be able to cover the entire right side of the bus driver. Yeah, and the gap should be almost non-existent if that's possible, so just so nothing can get through.
Janice Lukes is the chair of the Public Works Committee. She says the city is moving as fast as it can.
Yeah, I'd like them here tomorrow, but that won't happen. So it's a process.
The city first has to find a company to make the shields, then test them.
There's limited organizations that make these full shields. And so we're kind of going to be at the sort of mercy of these companies that do this.
Luke says installation can start at the end of next year. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A teen has been sentenced as an adult to life in prison for the violent beating deaths of 3 strangers when he was just 15 years old. The random attacks happened in Point Douglas in August of 2022. Daniel Ballantyne was found dead in an apartment building around 7 a.m. Just blocks away, 2 others were found injured hours later. Both died. The now 18-year-old pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder and manslaughter. The judge said a youth sentence would not be sufficient or hold the teen properly accountable for the crimes. He's not eligible for parole for at least 7 years. A group of Inuit and gender-diverse people have come forward with allegations of sexual and physical abuse against the CEO of the Manitoba Inuit Association. They say they found courage and support to do so through a grassroots social media campaign. CBC's Karen Pauls has more, and just a warning, this story may affect those who've been impacted by sexual violence.
I was a young teenager and I was so confused and totally caught off guard.
36-year-old Ruth Gustow wishes she'd gone to police more than 20 years ago when she alleges Nastanya Mullen, most recently CEO of the Manitoba Inuit Association, sexually assaulted her in his mother's Iqaluit home while she was visiting his younger sister, her best friend.
That could have just saved so many other people. Like, I cry for those other people that are too scared to come forward.
Gustow and one other Inuit woman have filed formal complaints with the police. None of the allegations have been proven and Mullen has not been charged. It's all part of a global social media campaign dubbed #InuitMeToo. Inuit singer and author Tanya Tagak is using her voice to amplify the movement. She is not one of those disclosing alleged abuse.
I can do my best to be a megaphone because I know how scary it is to come forward.
Nearly 1,300 people have signed a petition calling on the Manitoba Inuit Association to do an independent, trauma-informed investigation into the allegations against Mullen.
We started this petition because silence is no longer an option. It was a scream for justice.
Prominent Inuit organizations and women say survivors need to be believed.
I feel that it is the time for us to also speak out on behalf of people who are not able to speak for themselves.
This advocate is trying to support those coming forward.
As silent as these women have felt over the years, now it's so loud, it's deafening. We want to make sure that these women never feel like they have to be silenced again.
Ruth Gustav says that's exactly why she's sharing her story publicly.
I just want other people to feel safe enough to tell their truth.
The Manitoba Inuit Association says it has appointed an interim CEO, but it won't answer questions about Mullen's status or if it's investigating the allegations. When we reached Mullen by phone, he said he had no comment he can make at this time. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
We're learning more about the city's plan to limit homeless encampments in some areas. The city will designate certain no-go zones, which will include buffers around playgrounds and transit shelters. The plan goes into effect November 17th. But the city warns that it's still a work in progress and will change over time. No new staff or funding are being dedicated to it. Instead, the city plans to use existing resources, including 2 bylaw officers. Enforcement will take a tiered approach. Sensitive locations like schools or camps that pose an immediate risk to safety will have highest priority. It will be voted on by council later in November. The Manitoba government says it has added more than 800 teacher positions in the province since being elected in October 2023. But the union representing educators says the number of students has also gone up. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, officials say there's still work to do to help keep class sizes down.
The province's education minister handed out Manitoba pins to students at École Sage Creek, a new school in a growing area of Winnipeg. There are more students and they need more teachers. Tracy Schmidt says the NDP government has delivered.
So in Manitoba today, we have more than 830 new teachers. What do you guys think? Pretty good? Yeah. We need more teachers, right?
Schmidt says they've added 832 teaching positions since being elected in October 2023, bringing the total number of funded teacher positions in Manitoba to 13,903. The minister didn't have information on how many are filled.
I don't have the details at my fingertips, but I would be surprised if there are many vacancies. I know these positions are well needed.
Opposition Progressive Conservative education critic Wayne Owasco suggested the NDP is taking credit for the work the PCs did while in government, arguing that's when new teachers got their education.
It was us that planted those trees. They're just there to get on their little step stool and pick the fruit from the branches.
The Manitoba Teachers Society says there has been an increase in teachers hired. President Lillian Clausen says only school divisions could say for certain how many of the new positions have been filled.
Of those 832 positions, we wouldn't know, for example, how many are remaining unfilled because of a teacher shortage.
The government's smaller class size initiative aims to keep kindergarten to grade 3 classrooms capped at 20 students and grade 4 to 8 rooms at 25. Last year, 74% of K-3 classes had 20 or fewer students, and 89% of grade 4 to 8 classes had 25 or fewer students. But Franco-Manitoban School Division Superintendent Alain Laberge says teachers aren't the only factor. Classroom space also plays a role.
You add to this transportation, you add to this the school of choice, so it's a big puzzle.
The minister says recruiting more French language teachers remains a priority. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, time now to bring in Riley Lachuk. And Riley, can I put my umbrella away yet?
Yeah, keep it for the next 24 hours or so, Brittany. You might not need it in some cases, but just be ready just in case. Let's look at the temperatures today, though. pretty nice fall day. Usually we should be around 4 or 5 degrees for this time of the year, and some 10s on the board today through Brandon, Portage La Prairie, 4 degrees in Thompson. Winnipeg, we reached 8 this afternoon. We did spend the day under a mostly sunny sky here in the Red River Valley, but throughout the day we've seen some of this cloud cover starting to build in ahead of a weak area of low pressure that's been starting to push in from Saskatchewan. You can see the first sort of frontal boundary pushing across central Saskatchewan right now. This does, for the most part, fizzle out by the time it gets to us here in Manitoba, but we will see some impact from this as we get through the next couple of days. So 3 degrees overnight tonight. We'll see some cloud building in. That started to happen already. Chance of showers, fairly good chance for some, particularly in the western part of the province. There is a chance we do get some of that into Winnipeg. And looking at temperatures fairly seasonal for this time of the year, Brittany, at 6 degrees in Winnipeg tomorrow. We'll talk a bit more about that and who could see some snow when I come back.
Ooh, okay. Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Is the province's plan to open a new detox centre in jeopardy? Why the opposition says it needs more work. That's it. The province is still hoping to push through legislation that would allow highly intoxicated people to be held for up to 72 hours. It's all part of the NDP's plan to open a new detox centre quickly. But that plan may be in jeopardy. CBC's Bryce Hoy was at the legislature today, where Bill 48 is still under debate. So, Bryce, why are the PCs pushing for certain changes to the bill?
Brittany, so far, this bill has received support from the Tories, but they want some tweaks, some assurances, and that's what they're pushing for. Now, we're talking about the NDP's Protective Detention and Care of Intoxicated Persons Act, Bill 48. Now, it would extend how long a highly intoxicated person can be detained. Right now, it's just 24 hours. They want to up that to up to 3 days. Now, the NDP say the hope is it would enable people experiencing things like meth-induced psychosis to be checked by medical professionals and then potentially taken to this new detox center at 190 Disraeli Freeway instead of, say, a hospital. Now, up until now, the Progressive Conservatives voted in favor of this. Then, yesterday, tabled amendments. Now, these are changes the NDP say would have far-reaching implications. Addictions critic Jeff Bariza says there are still too many unanswered questions here about how these centers would operate.
It's prudent for us as elected officials that we represent all Manitobans and we make sure that we get this right. Before, I'm not sure what the rush is with this bill.
So, Bryce, what did the addictions minister have to say about all of it?
Well, Brittany, Bernadette Smith says some of the PC's amendments are just no-goes, particularly one concerning operating a protective care center within 500 meters of places like schools. Now, that would rule out the location of their new planned center. Smith says if the NDP accepted that amendment, it could also mean the closure of a center that has already been operating in the area for years.
Well, essentially, the amendments would close down Main Street Project, which has been running for decades. You know, this is about getting people to the resources they need and providing safety and security to the community.
Now, the New Democrats and PCs failed this afternoon to arrive at an agreement on amendments. There was no vote, so we're going to have to wait at least another day to see if they reach a compromise in time to pass this bill this fall. Brittany?
All right, thank you. That's CBC's Bryce Hoy. Geopolitical is trying once more to obtain a license to remove sand from below the surface of southwestern Manitoba. Now, the Alberta company has submitted a new mining proposal. And as CBC's Bartley Kivas reports, it hopes this one will be more acceptable to both the public and politicians.
Geopolitical is a new proposal to mine for sand. The NDP government nixed a previous one last year over concerns that removing sand from an aquifer would reduce the quality of drinking water and cause collapses underground. Geopolitical President Carla Devlin says the new proposal addresses these environmental fears.
We understand the concerns of community and of the new incoming government.
The new plan calls for drilling fewer wells over the first 5 years over a smaller area southwest of Vivian in the arm of Springfield. Geopolitical also plans to remove less sand over these first 5 years. Mining opponent Tangi Bell said she's not buying this.
This is a project that remains the same. They plan to mine in the same location, which is Manitobans' drinking water.
Bell urged the province to reject the new proposal. Premier Wab Kinew is non-committal.
It'll go through the process.
This new proposal comes after Manitoba's Ethics Commissioner ruled former Premier Heather Stephenson and 2 PC cabinet ministers pushed to approve the original plan after they lost the 2023 election to Kinew's NDP. Carla Devlin says she's confident the Kinew government will have an open mind about mining sand.
I think that they have to recognize that there is a global shortage looming in high purity quartz silica, and we have the largest deposit in the world with the highest purity in the world. Therefore, it's inevitable that the resource will come out of the ground.
Geopolitical says it hopes to gain approval for its new license before the spring of 2026. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Avian influenza has been found in 5 commercial poultry flocks in Manitoba, the first cases detected since early May. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says the cases were found this month. The farms are now undergoing culls of their birds. The CFIA didn't say how many are impacted or specify the type of poultry that has been infected. Owners can apply for compensation for the animals that have been ordered destroyed. Again, these are the first cases detected since May. Riley, back in now, and I got out for my walk this morning, but I delayed it because it was hard to get out of bed with the darkness and the chill. There was some frost. I know I'm complaining. I don't mean to. I got out there, though. It was nice once you got out there, but I needed the mittens.
Yeah. We're looking at another chilly one. We're going to take a look at the Halloween forecast. We're going to skip ahead
Everybody's
here.
waiting for that.
Yes. And it starts in black. So just to bear with me here for a second there. Here we go. This is why.
Ooh.
Because we're going to do some cat and mysteriousness here. And yeah, okay, so we're going to skip ahead to the trick-or-treating. Mainly cloudy, 4 degrees. We are looking at a bit of wet weather in between now and then, but at least in Winnipeg, I think this wraps up by the time we get into trick-or-treating hour, into the late afternoon, early evening for most of southern Manitoba. Anyway, all right, upper level winds, a couple things to see here. First, you can start to see this trough starting to form in the jet stream back over Saskatchewan and Alberta. This will cool things down for us as we get into the coming days. We've also got this very deep trough down into the southern states. There's an upper low here, and this is having a bit of an impact on Hurricane Melissa in that it's keeping it offshore and back into the Atlantic. So that's why we've got a bit of a block here and why Hurricane Melissa is tracking a little bit further to the east over the Atlantic as opposed to over Florida and into parts of the Gulf states in the southern U.S. Okay, our setup here at home, we have this low developing over Saskatchewan and Alberta. This starts to push into the province as we get into the overnight hours into Thursday morning. Bit of cloud cover overnight tonight, and along this first frontal boundary, maybe a few showers first thing in the morning. So that's why I've put a good chance of showers in the forecast for most of southern Manitoba into the west. As we get into the afternoon, that chance of showers persists, and this is likely not going to be showers everywhere or showers all day. In fact, you might not even see any where you are, for example, but there is that chance there out of some of this cloud cover as this front starts to push through that we do get into some showers as we get through the next 24 hours or so. On the back side of this, some cooler air starts to come in, and as we get overnight into Friday morning, there is the possibility that some of this, particularly in the west, over the Turtle Mountains, over the Duck Mountains, does transition into some light snow or some wet flurries or some mixing first thing in the morning. Then once we get some heating back into Friday, this all dissipates. It maybe is a few more scattered showers in behind this, but really that's about it for any real precipitation. So we're not looking at any major accumulation here as we get through the next couple of days, really 2 to 5 millimeters at most in the west. Trace to maybe a couple locally, maybe pick up a little bit more. For fun, I thought I'd just show you what we're looking at in terms of snowfall potential. Most of that staying back into Saskatchewan, but yes, around the Duck Mountains, the Turtle Mountains, we could get into some wet flurries first thing that likely will be melting once we get into the day on Friday. Temperatures first thing in the morning, looking at 3 degrees in Winnipeg, 2s and 3s in the west, and dipping close to or just below the freezing mark for most of northern Manitoba first thing in the morning. A few more scattered showers first thing in the morning, Brittany, for Friday, and then we are into a bit of sunshine, maybe a few more showers into the weekend as well.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
We have much more ahead right after this. Stay with us.
This is Manitoba. And this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Manitoba, streaming now.
Hurricane Melissa took aim at the Bahamas Wednesday as it continues its trail of destruction through the Caribbean. It made landfall in Cuba earlier in the day as a Category 3 storm, bringing catastrophic winds and flash flooding, after slamming into Jamaica as the strongest storm on record to hit the island. Katie Nicholson has the details.
Hurricane Melissa's path of destruction clear in Jamaica's morning light. Melissa trashed the island with winds that at times gusted 320 kilometers an hour.
It was terrible. The wind, it was violent. It was terrible for all of us. I have a son here, and believe me, he was actually crying.
The terror of the storm now over, the unprecedented devastation only just beginning to hit home. An unconfirmed number of deaths. Roads blocked by trees and debris. 77% of the country without power after large sections of the grid knocked out. Homes ripped apart.
We still have to pick up the pieces and move on.
To that end, multiple countries and organizations are ready to help, including the UN.
I don't think there's any single soul on this island who was not affected by Hurricane Melissa.
The UN estimates roughly 1 million people, a third of the population, will need some form of help.
Some of the areas really remain unreachable in terms of getting resources there. We have serious challenges in terms of connectivity, so we cannot get the reports from those areas.
Melissa went on to hit Cuba next. Rainwater crept up to doors in the dead of night and tore down trees and roofs. While in rain-drenched Haiti, at least 40 people died, many when a river overran its banks. Today, floodwaters linger. I'm living with kids, she says. I have nothing to give them. We wake up in the water, we sleep in the water. Long after Melissa pummeled the Caribbean, the misery from its damage will persist. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Prime Minister Mark Carney spent the day in South Korea as he continues his trip through Asia to promote new trade partnerships. But it seems he can't escape the ire of U.S. President Donald Trump, all over an Ontario government ad that used clips of a former Republican president saying tariffs don't work. The TV spot led to the breakdown of trade talks with the Americans. Rafi Boudjikanian has the latest details.
Thousands of kilometers away from D.C., hard to escape the White House's pull. Mark Carney said he had no intention of interacting with the U.S. president in South Korea.
You have a message for President Trump, sir?
I have a message for this president.
Trump also presenting a cold shoulder on social media, posting, "For those that are asking, we didn't come to South Korea to see Canada." But the two men ended up right across the table from each other at this dinner hosted by South Korea. Carney had little to say about how it went down.
Very good. Had a very good conversation with all the presidents.
When someone says, the first sign of a thaw after the White House halted trade talks last week, saying it's unhappy over a now pulled Government of Ontario ad showing part of a speech by former President Ronald Reagan criticizing the use of tariffs. The U.S. ambassador to Canada even insulted Ontario's trade representative in an expletive-laden tirade at a Canadian-American Business Council gathering in Ottawa Monday.
Pete, you got to call Dave up and apologize. It's simple. The intention wasn't to go poke the president in the eye. My intention was to get a conversation going.
Both Trump and Carney are also set for some one-on-ones with Chinese President Xi Jinping, aiming to restart their country's relationships with Asia's largest economy. For years, Ottawa and Beijing have not seen eye to eye. China accused of interfering in Canadian elections. Like the U.S., Canada placed punishing tariffs on Chinese electronic vehicle imports last year. Beijing struck back with their own on Canadian canola and pork, saying it would lift them if Ottawa drops its EV levies.
That dialogue has to be come with razor-sharp, eye-opened view.
Observers say Ottawa should tread carefully.
China does not view its foreign policy tools the way that we may view our foreign policy tools. And the second that it feels that it needs to leverage any of those economic tools, again, it absolutely will.
And there's Ottawa's business with South Korea itself. While he's here, Carney will visit the Hanwha shipyards on Thursday. Should Seoul win out on a multi-billion-dollar contract against Germany and Norway, that's where the Canadian Navy's next fleet of submarines would be built, cementing a budding trade and defense relationship with a new partner at a time the one with Washington is still on shaky grounds. Rafi Ujikani on CBC News, Gwangju.
The Bank of Canada has lowered its key lending rate again. It cut the rate by 25 basis points to 2.25% in an effort to boost the economy.
The weakness we're seeing in the Canadian economy is more than a cyclical downturn. It's also a structural adjustment. The U.S. trade conflict has diminished Canada's economic prospects. The structural damage caused by tariffs is reducing the productive capacity of the economy.
Tiff Macklem says the U.S. tariffs and Washington's unpredictable trade policies have limited the bank's ability to boost consumer demand while keeping inflation in check. He also indicated the bank is done with cuts unless the economic outlook changes. However, at 2.25%, the benchmark rate is at its lowest point since July 2022. Trump is preparing for a critical meeting with China's president. Talks are expected to focus on trade and tariffs, but Taiwan is also a flashpoint, as China's military posture towards the self-governing island has become increasingly aggressive. Chris Brown reports from the Taiwanese Islands.
Through an accident of history, the Kinmen Islands are Taiwan's outpost on China's doorstep.
Those skyscrapers are in Xiamen, China, just a few kilometers away. For decades, Taiwan's Kinmen Islands were on the front lines of what at times was a shooting war between forces from the mainland and those across the Taiwan Strait. And they could be on the front lines again.
In 1949, during the Chinese Civil War, retreating forces of the Republic of China used Kinmen as a buffer against the victorious Communist Army. To this day, Beijing claims these islands and Taiwan's main island as theirs, and it has not renounced using force to get them back. China's military has launched a building spree with a big increase in its budget. Its patrols have intensified near Taiwan. Taiwan has responded with its own drills, including live fire exercises.
Jerry. Yes? I'm Chris. Good to meet you.
Reservist Taiwanese artillery officer Jerry Wu drives a taxi, and he works as a tour guide on Kinmen. He hopes it's all bluffing by China. I feel it's overwhelming, he said. There are people here who are nervous, but there are others who aren't. Some people move here from Taiwan, but some come from China, and they marry locals in Kinmen. Boosting Taiwan's resilience has become a national priority. This is a class for people to learn or hone skills they might need in case of war. Chang Qingchang is a former Special Services officer. We have to beef up our defense strength and defend ourselves to the point where China will be forced to think twice and realize that the consequences of attacking us will be so damaging that its regime will be at stake, he says. If they decide to start a war, they'll have to pay a costly price, says Jerry Wu, so they probably won't, but they will keep harassing us. On Kinmen, people have learned to live with the echoes of war and the uncertainty of when or if they'll hear them again. Chris Brown, CBC News, on the Kinmen Islands.
The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza say a new round of Israeli strikes have killed more than 100 people. It marks the deadliest day in the territory since the ceasefire began on October 10th. And it comes as both Hamas and Israel trade blame for truce violations. Julia Chapman has the latest.
The strikes targeted areas all across the Gaza Strip. The civil defense in Gaza says homes, temporary shelters, and an area near a hospital were all hit. And it was one of Israel's deadliest attacks on Gaza. The Hamas-run health ministry says 20 women and 46 children were among the 104 killed. In one strike on the Barej refugee camp in central Gaza, the office of Benjamin Netanyahu says the prime minister ordered forceful strikes. The Israel Defense Forces says they were targeting Hamas sites and that this was a retaliation for ceasefire violations, including the killing of an Israeli soldier. Hamas has denied any involvement. The handing over of hostage bodies is also still a sticking point. Hamas says it's taking time to recover them because of the damage inside Gaza. Israel accuses Hamas of not holding up its end of the deal. And after last night's strikes, Hamas says it's postponing the return of one body. There are still arguments about another body that was handed over. Israel accuses Hamas of staging an excavation, while the group says that Israel is trying to come up with a pretext for further strikes. Donald Trump insists that the ceasefire isn't at risk. He, in fact, endorsed Israel's response when asked about it on Air Force One earlier.
They killed an Israeli soldier, so the Israelis hit back. And they should hit back.
Trump went on to say that Hamas should behave, and if they don't, they will be terminated. But there are other hiccups in the peace deal as well. The IDF says after last night's strikes, it is upholding the ceasefire once again, and Hamas also says it is still committed to it, but it remains extremely fragile. Julia Chapman, CBC News, London.
Painting the town blue, where Canadians are flocking to show their support for the Blue Jays. The latest from LA next. A Manitoba family is searching for answers into the death of a young First Nation woman and left asking why she was refused care at a hospital. Shandy Cook died after visiting the Swan Valley Health Centre earlier this month. Her sister says she had been previously diagnosed with leukemia. She says the 25-year-old went to the hospital because she was having trouble breathing. She says while struggling in the waiting room, her sister began vomiting up blood. She claims her sister was denied help and sent home where the problems continued. She didn't wake up the next morning.
My dad said she finally went to bed, so then he thought that she was okay. And then in the morning, he tried to wake her up, no response. So he tried to check for her pulse, no pulse. So then he did compressions, and then he said he did compressions for a while, but deep down he already knew that she had passed away in her sleep.
She believes her sister was racially profiled. Her family wants an apology and an explanation for why Shandy was turned away. Prairie Mountain Health refused to comment on the case, but confirmed there is an investigation into the allegations. Manitoba's advocate for children and youth says there's a major gap in services for young people dealing with mental health and addictions issues. It's part of a new report from the Advocate's Office looking at child deaths and serious injuries. It found last year the office opened 448 advocacy cases where the young person required long-term or complex supports. It says many of those cases involved addictions or substance use.
60% of the cases that we receive, especially in the serious injury area, are a result of substance misuse. So we know that there is a lack of strategy in areas of mental health and substance use focus on youth.
The Advocate says there isn't enough coordination of resources in the youth addiction system to help those young people who need it. They'd like the province to use the report to transform the system and improve access. Well, we are officially 100 days away from the start of the Winter Olympics in Italy. The opening ceremony for Milano Cortina 2026 is slated for February 6th. The games are scheduled to run from the 6th until February 22nd. These will be the 4th Olympic Games to be held in Italy, and they'll be at sites across Lombardy and the Northeast. Team Canada will join more than 3,500 athletes from 93 countries competing for medals in 16 Olympic sports. It's another big night for the Toronto Blue Jays. Game 5 of the World Series is taking place in Los Angeles with the teams tied at 2 wins each. But if you think the Dodgers have an advantage playing in front of a hometown crowd, well, think again. Jamie Strachan has the story of all the Jays fans cheering from the stands.
Hit well. For Canadians living in California, and this one will go. It's a great time to be a Blue Jay fan.
So I live in San Francisco right now, so I've been tracking the Jays since they're doing well, over the years. And so as soon as there was an opportunity to come down here, I bought a ticket and I'm here.
In the air to left field. And there's been lots to cheer about. They get a great team effort.
I'm losing my voice right now after last night.
Amazing 6. Jays in 6. Jays in 6. Not quite the Rogers Center, but Blue Jays fans well represented.
Tons, yeah. In our section, there was a lot of fanfare and a lot of support. We had some friends in the crowd, so it was all good.
And the Blue Jay hats and jerseys sprinkled throughout Dodger Stadium haven't gone unnoticed.
Just really cool to see that, and we appreciate the support. For sure makes a difference having people in the stands behind us, supporting us, and hearing those Blue Jays chants are great.
About 70,000 Canadians live here in California, the most of any U.S. state. For those not lucky enough to have a ticket, this West Hollywood restaurant has become the de facto headquarters for expat Blue Jay fans. Let's go! Let's go!
It just picked up, and last night we had a nice big crowd, beautiful game, nice ending.
Owner Gianni DeFazio moved to LA in the early 90s. He says word is spreading that there's a spot in LA for Blue Jay fans to enjoy this World Series run.
My brother-in-law and I were both from Montreal. So. They're learning that we're Canadian, so we're starting to develop a beautiful Canadian crowd.
The restaurant has been busy for games with a special Canadian-themed menu in place, designed to give fans a taste of Canada.
Smoked meat sandwiches, poutine, moosehead beer, so make all the Canadians feel at home.
Next up on the menu, hopefully another Blue Jay win. A chance for Canadians living here in California to proudly wear their Blue Jay colors. That's COLOURS. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Los Angeles.
All right, big game tonight.
Yes.
I know I saw a lot of Blue Jays jerseys around town today, even in the newsroom.
Yeah.
People really looking forward to this.
In case you're wondering, 31 degrees right now in LA. So I hope they like playing in the heat because it's a bit hot. There's a heat advisory in place for parts of California.
You know what? They're used to it from Toronto too in the summers, so it could help.
That's true. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about Hurricane Melissa here as it churns its way through the Caribbean here. A couple things to talk about. First off, you can see a couple of things on satellite radar. First, Hurricane Melissa here. And you'll notice this looks a bit different than it did last night. It's degraded a bit. That really defined eye wall is gone, which I'll talk about in a moment. But the other thing at play here is this area of low pressure over the southern states and this frontal boundary that's tracking along with it. And that is actually helping to keep this off the U.S. shore. Yes, having a pretty big impact in places like Jamaica through Cuba into the Bahamas, for example. But that's helping to keep this hurricane off onto the more Atlantic side as it turns its way up toward Bermuda. So still looking at hurricane warnings in place for a good chunk of the Bahamas. You're starting to see some of the rain from some of the U.S. radar stations here close to the Miami coastline, but certainly the main event still off into the Caribbean here as we get later into the evening. Now, as this hurricane really passed over some of that more mountainous, some of the higher terrain in Jamaica, it really lost a lot of steam right now at a Category 1 as it passes through with sustained winds at 150 kilometers an hour. Now, watch what happens as we go forward in time here. Through Thursday, looking at this hurricane passing and gaining a bit of steam once again in some of that warmer water of the Atlantic Basin up to a Category 2 as it grazes past Bermuda, and then grazes past Newfoundland and Labrador as we get into the weekend. So Halloween, for example, the potential to be a bit wet and windy for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador, thanks in part to Hurricane Melissa, or the remnants of it as it churns upward into the Atlantic. Okay, dog walking forecast. And yes, we've seen Maggie before. Thank you, Wendy and Bill. But Annie is a new one. Annie was just adopted. Thank you for sending your picture. And I know you sent it in a while back. So thanks for being patient. Send yours to talkback at cbc.ca. Looking at 6 degrees into the afternoon tomorrow, a bit gloomy thanks to this area of low pressure pushing across the province. Looking at temperatures close to freezing overnight tonight. -1 in Thompson, a mainly cloudy sky. Looking at temperatures in the single digits, pretty seasonal for this time of the year through northern Manitoba, 4 degrees, maybe some showers through the Pas and OCN, and some scattered showers, good chance of that through western Manitoba, Brittany, and looking at the potential for a few showers into the Red River Valley as well.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Some ranchers in Alberta are trying their hands at something new to help secure the future of their family farms. They're turning to tourism to help, converting old grain bins into accommodations for visitors who want a taste of life on the prairies. CBC business reporter Kyle Bax has the story.
After storing grain for decades, these 2-story metal bins now house guests from around the world who want a taste of farm life on the Canadian prairies.
I grew up on a grain farm, so always loved the idea of granaries.
The trio of grain bins were booked solid all summer long on land where 300 cattle graze.
We've diversified our ranch, and it's a good opportunity to get extra income that way too.
It's also aimed at keeping this land in the family. Succession planning is one of the most pressing issues in agriculture. Agritourism is one way to bridge a generational gap, enticing the children of farmers to stay in farming.
More and more, you can't be just a rancher, so you're always looking for ways to branch out. While the goal and the dream is to ranch, but it doesn't always work that way.
About $300 billion worth of farmland will change hands over the next decade, experts say, as the average age of farmers nears 60 years old. but some farms can be too big or too small to easily pass on, and some farmers want to keep farming forever.
It's the type of industry where you may have worked your entire life with, so your own identity is really enmeshed with the work that you're doing, and you like doing the work.
For Brianna Morrison, her kids are young, but she's already thinking decades ahead. She just opened for business this summer with 5 converted grain bins on the land her family has farmed for 3 generations.
They might have more ideas for this place and want to continue it and make it their own too and grow on it, and I hope that that can come with the legacy of this ranch too.
For now, she's focusing on marketing and hospitality to keep welcoming guests to the ranch while still looking after the animals. Kyle Bax, CBC News, near Pincher Creek, Alberta.
A trip to remember. Coming up, we catch up with a Korean cyclist on his cross-Canada ride. We're back right after this.
All right, time for a look at your 7-day forecast and a bit more gray. I hope you enjoyed the sunshine today because things the next couple of days looking slightly gray. 6 degrees for a high tomorrow, fairly seasonal or normal around 4 or 5 degrees across southern Manitoba. Maybe a few scattered showers yet to come into Friday. Then maybe a bit of sunshine back for the weekend, but clouds will feature. Don't forget about that time change into early Sunday with a slim chance of showers. And then we're looking at temperatures remaining in the single digits as we get toward Tuesday and into Wednesday of next week. All right, a couple of weather pictures. I've had these saved for a bit here. So here's a couple of them. Ron took this one of some of the fall colors in St. Norbert. And I've got one more from Donna, who took this in Whiteshell Provincial Park. You can send yours to talkback@cbc.ca. A South Korean man is cycling across North America.
Now riding from Metro Vancouver to Montreal, he says Canadian kindness is fueling his journey. Alana Kelly has our daily lift.
Daring to ride the Sea to Sky Highway with traffic whizzing by is not unusual around here. But Hung Min Ji is not your average rider.
It's really chill, yeah.
He's cycling across North America, starting in British Columbia and going all the way to Quebec.
It's for fun and to know myself more and see my limit.
Pushing himself more than 5,000 kilometers.
Around 2 months, or 68 days.
At 28 years old, this South Korean man has pedaled his way through a massive feat already, visiting 26 countries on his bike. He cycled from Argentina to Alaska, then hitchhiked to Kitwanga and cycled down to Squamish.
BC is amazing, nice people, friendly. They talk to me first, and beautiful nature and drinkable water. So I'm happy with that, yeah.
Powering him through is peanut butter sandwiches and podcasts. From strangers riding with him to giving him a place to stay, they've all shared their generosity, helping make his goal possible.
I've been helped by so many people, and I really appreciate, and every time when I cycle, I think about these people who helped me.
So if you see him on his bike, don't be a stranger. Say hello, or maybe even join him for a bit of his journey. Alana Kelly, CBC News, Squamish.
Okay, I'm not going to complain ever again about how sore my butt gets after one spin class because he's on that bike all day long.
I sure hope that he gets to Manitoba before the snow starts to fly.
We will welcome you with warm arms.
Might not have as good luck in Saskatchewan with the snow, but we'll see.
Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.